Welcome to the ever-expanding world of snowboard gear polyamory that is the Good Ride. I'm James Feasty, and I want to talk about what's replacing Gore-Tex Pro as the best high-end outerwear in 2025, 2026, and that is the Skyline Phase 3L jacket you see here with an exclusive Toray Dermazax 3L fabric. And to give you a short summary, this new Skyline 3L Phase jacket gives you better waterproofing, better breathability, and more durability than Gore-Tex Pro 3-layer jackets. Then you throw in this more affordable, reliable, reduced stitching design, and very functional pocket layout. You have an excellent jacket for the backcountry, but also inbounds resort snowboarding as well. It's on another level versus high-end Arc'teryx, Burton AK, Volcom Guide. Even Patagonia is moving to Toray in the very near future and adopting all the same construction practices that Skyline has already set up. And other than the lack of adjustability in the cuff, that can be hit or miss depending on personal preference, this is easily the best jacket I've ever owned. Then, combined with the furnace insulator hoodie that you see underneath here, and especially the Phase 3L bib pant, this is the outerwear system I want for a wide variety of weather that I see in a 70 to 100 day year season in the Pacific Northwest. And just so you know, this is no pay to play review. This comes from an honest, objective perspective with zero brand oversight. I can do that thanks to our sponsor, Blower Board Shop. They've been selling to snowboarders longer than most resorts have been allowing snowboarders on the hill. They're a long-time local shop, but also have a large online presence and a solid selection of gear. So if you want to support honest, objective content like you see here at the Good Ride and a great shop, click through our links to Blower Board Shop and buy something. It would be greatly appreciated. Now let's talk about how Gore-Tex Pro has changed. Before the 2024-2025 season, it was EPTFE, which had a very toxic but very effective Teflon-like membrane that was at the pinnacle of waterproofing. By removing this Teflon element, it changed Gore-Tex Pro from EPTFE to EPE. So EPE Gore-Tex is now just a PU membrane that is still upper tier, but not on the level of old EPTFE Gore-Tex from the membrane to the outer layer. Also, the DWR finish was not PFAS free, so now it has a different, less water resistant finish on the exterior. So what's better than Gore-Tex Pro in 2025, 2026? That is the Skyline Toray Dermazax 3-layer jacket made in Okinawa, Japan. They've been making environmentally friendly membranes for 40 plus years. They worked with Skyline to create a new and exclusive high-end 3L Dermazax material that gives better waterproofing and breathability than old EPTFE Gore-Tex 3-layer Pro without any harmful chemicals in the membrane or treatment on the outer finish. In independent testing, this Skyline 3L fused jacket with its own Toray Dermazax material has 36K waterproofing and 23K breathability. In addition, the 70D fabric is considerably more durable, and in the same independent test, old Gore-Tex Pro EPTFE was on average about 28K waterproofing and about 18K breathability. So this is the new best thing out there, and it's at a much more reasonable price for a high-end jacket. So let's talk fit. This is a size large. You can see my specs. It fits me incredibly well. I have short arms, a long torso, short legs, a 45.5 chest, and bigger shoulders. So it's very hard to get a jacket to fit me really well like the models do that you see online. That's why I'm doing this, because only a few of us out there look that pretty. And this jacket fits me really well. You can see a side profile here. This has a more loose fit than the older Skyline 3-layer jacket I had that used to be Gore-Tex Pro 3-layer. This is the old Skyline Fuse 3-layer jacket from Capsule 1 with the thicker Super Furnace puffy underneath than the new Furnace hoodie. And you can see it's a much tighter fit. Now here's the new Skyline Fuse 3L jacket, and it has the Super Furnace underneath. And you can see there's a lot more room here than the old Skyline. And I like this newer, loose, not fully baggy fit a good bit more. The more I wear this, the more I appreciate and prefer this type of construction and fit. It feels like it conforms to my build better. I have better range of motion. This just feels more like a part of you than any other jacket I've tried. And it's a very unique feel. And I've tried a shit ton of jackets in my day. When it comes to construction, the Skyline Fuse 3L jacket is pretty unique. They have eliminated seams wherever they can, like in the shoulders. And the eventual goal is to make a completely 3D stitched, seamless, one-piece construction jacket. This costs less, but also reduces points of failure that you get with a lot of other 3-layer Gore-Tex Pro jackets. Now, there were some issues in the past where glued seams like the powder skirt started to come undone at the ends like mine did, but this has now been fixed and they're making a more burly seam. In comparing to my old Burton 3L Gore-Tex Pro Tusk jacket, it's a mouthful. Their construction and stitching on the 40D material seems pretty similar. I couldn't see one that's better than the other. On top of that, there are a lot less seams on this jacket than there are on the Tusk. The outer material of the Skyline Fuse is pretty smooth and it's made to naturally shed water. It's not the smoothest I've seen, but it's on the upper tier of smooth for sure, and it's far from coarse. One thing to mention is this color of red is really hard to pick up on camera. In person, this red changes to varying shades of red depending on the light and the viewing angle. It's really unique and it's really hard to capture this color personality on camera. So just know it's a little more red than it looks. So let's talk waterproofing and breathability. So it's been a shitty start to my season up here at Mount Bachelor. The mountain hasn't opened. So I took this jacket on a family trip out to the Oregon coast. On a 2-hour walk, in a decent amount of rain, this jacket held up like a champ. At the end of my walk, I found a hose, and with the help of my boy, we sprayed the hose on the sleeves, and there were no areas where the water took hold to this outer layer. It also blocked the wet, humid coastal winds really well too. Same in colder, drier wind that I experienced walking around in Bend. Of course, I'll know more as the season progresses, so check for updates on Patreon for paid members, and I'll do a follow-up review at the end of the season after I do a lot of testing to give another talk about what I'm seeing. But so far, this is really good, and it does feel like it's more than Gore-Tex Pro 3 layers of the past. And when it comes to durability, this Toray 3L fabric construction is more durable than Gore-Tex Pro 3-layer construction. I'm not sure on the specifics of how much more it is, but it's considerably more, and I can feel it. It just feels really well built. Let's talk helmet hood compatibility. I'm wearing a Smith Method medium helmet with my Smith 3D mag low bridge fit, which are like regular bridge fit for everybody else. And this hood has to be tightened up considerably of this large jacket for it to fit this helmet really well. And I have to tighten it a lot because when I turn to the side, if I leave the hood open, it would just go inside. So this is a great fit. And as you know, if you've watched older outerwear reviews of mine, it's very hard for me to get anything but a contoured hood for this reason right here. As you're riding up the chair or you're going down the hill and it's a freezing cold day, you can set this up to wrap around your goggles perfectly and not expose any sides of your cheeks. Let's talk about these cuffs and glove compatibility. First off, this cuff can be a point of contention for some. When I'm using this jacket, when I'm not snowboarding, I don't like these cuffs. However, when I'm snowboarding, I found almost no compromises versus an adjustable Velcro cuff. I never get any snow stuck on it, and it also doesn't get wet as much as normal cuffs do. It's not a very good under the glove kind of cuff either. And if you want to wear this jacket without gloves, it's kind of frustrating. What I have to do is pull this up like this so it holds at a nice level on my arm. I wish they put 2 buttons here to tighten it up, so at least it could work around town as a rain jacket. I usually don't like wrist gaiters, but this Fuse 3L wrist gaiter is exceptional. They're thin, they never get in the way of the glove, and conversely, they don't choke my wrists if I don't use them. Normally I cut out wrist gaiters, and these I'm keeping in. Now let's talk pit zips. This newer, longer pit zip is a good improvement over the past model. I love having the ability to vent right over my armpit where most of the heat is generated, and now I can do that. The old Skyline Fuse 3L jacket only came up to just a little below the pit, and now this one goes well past it. Now, let's talk outer pockets. Even though the Skyline Fuse 3L jacket is designated to be more of a backcountry / guide jacket, the pockets are more than functional for resort riding. In fact, I found them better than most jackets I've owned in the past. On the outside, we have 4 large pockets that go just to the belt line and then a little before the chest. You can see they're pretty big and spacious inside. The 2 inner pockets work as a great place to rest my hands to get a little warmth, but have a lot of room for storage as well. And they're only a little worse than a regular pocket that sits more at your belt line. Then you have 2 large pockets on the outer part on both sides. And then inside you have 2 medium-ish small elastic mesh pouches for a little extra organization, and they can fit my S25 Ultra in there with a little bit of work, but it's doable, and it's the same size for both sides. And this jacket, of course, is very backpack compatible because it's becoming one of the more popular guide jackets out there. And as you can see, the pockets fit just below and above the straps, and I have no issues accessing anything in the pockets here. So this is very backpack compatible. Let's talk inside pockets. You don't have much in here. You have 1 big mesh goggle pocket, and then you have a rather small pocket here that can hold my S25 Ultra with a little bit of work trying to pry it in there. I wish this could be just a little bit bigger to better hold a bigger phone, but it's pretty good. Let's talk powder skirt here. I wish this wasn't fixed, and I wish I could zip it out, especially wearing a bib, but it never gets in my way, and it does have buttons right here that attach to the back of the jacket, so the powder skirt won't lift up on a powder day if you have an awkward moment. Now let's talk packability. This packs up really well inside the hood, and it can get a good bit smaller if you want, but it's a very easy jacket to travel with. Skyline wants you to buy locally if you can, but if you can't, ordering online comes with a custom Skyline box, custom wrapping, and a letter about their mission statement. Look, I'm not an unboxing kind of guy, but I got to admit this wasn't a bad experience. And you can see they're putting in that extra effort to give you a really custom, unique, high-end experience that a lot of other brands are not doing. And I don't really care about that. When the jacket's out of the box, that's when it becomes great to me, but some of you might appreciate that. So overall, this Skyline Fuse 3L guide jacket is special, and there really isn't anything like it out there for the 25-26 season. You're getting a better high-end 3-layer jacket than high-end Gore-Tex Pro jackets from Patagonia, Arc'teryx, Burton AK, Volcom guide. And now Patagonia is following suit with this construction process in the years to come. So there's a good indicator that this is the new high-end tech that everybody's aspiring to construction-wise, especially because it's cheaper and more reliable. So to close this out, I can get any jacket and pant combination I want. And this was my first choice. And it'll also be the jacket I recommend more to anyone that wants the best outerwear made right now. And paired up with this Phase 3L bib pant and the Furnace mid layer, it's an excellent combination and it's very hard to do better. This is the best outerwear I've ever owned and I'm really looking forward to using this throughout the season.